While all 34 charges against the former president are for falsifying business records during his first year in office, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg pointed to what he called a larger criminal scheme that started during the campaign. CBS News chief election correspondent Robert Costa and CBS News legal contributor Rebecca Roiphe join me now. Bob, the president has been on social media. He's been defiant. His posture was defiant in what we could see of him today. But has he shifted at all since this experience today that you've noticed, or anything from his legal team? Has that changed at all, given what he's been through?
Talking to friends and advisors of former President Trump this evening, it's evident that this whole trial that's on the horizon, a possible trial, this indictment today, it disrupts his presidential campaign. But they do believe that his supporters' grievances could fuel him in terms of fundraising, in terms of momentum when it comes to polling in the Republican presidential race. So they're looking at this as a distraction that they did not welcome. But in terms of the political consequence of it, they do see some benefit.
Rebecca, in terms of this case, untangle the spaghetti for us here, because there's the falsifying business records that we get. But the DA also kept talking about an intent to commit another crime, other crimes. What were those, and why not be specific about those?
It's a good question. So you're right that the misdemeanor falsification of business records just requires an intent to defraud. In order for that to be a felony, there has to also be an intent to commit or conceal another crime. And the indictment itself and the statement of facts does not entirely make clear what those crimes might be. But when the district attorney gave his press conference, he gave us more of a clue, more of insight into what they are claiming. And they're essentially claiming three potential crimes. First, federal election crimes, state election crimes, and finally, and I think importantly, state tax fraud.
And he seemed to say at the press conference he didn't need to articulate what those were, that wasn't part of the bar he had to cross. Is that right, or is that a matter of opinion? Or
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, it would have been more helpful, and I think the indictment would have read perhaps in a more persuasive way had he done that. But there might have been strategic reasons why he didn't want to.
Bob, you mentioned that the president might be able to harness this a little bit. How about the others in the 2024 campaign? What are your sources telling you? What are you reading? What's your sense of what this does to the presidential race that Donald Trump is a part of?
It's not so much what I'm reading and hearing, it's what I'm not reading and not hearing. Silence on the Republican front. They look at this situation, when you talk to strategists for Trump's rivals, as a potential opening down the line. But right now, they see the party rallying to Trump's side. They believe he is going to get a political bump out of this. But they do wonder, in the future, should the special counsel in Washington move on the January 6th investigation, the classified records case, could that provide an opening for some Republican of stature to stand up and say, enough, coupled with what's happened today in New York and the looming potential of a trial? Eventually, Republicans who are in the anti-Trump camp, even if they're in that camp quietly, hope there's an opening for someone to step up and go, it's time for us to move on. But they haven't reached that point, that political breaking point, in any real way.
Is there much conversation, or is this for a later day, which goes something along these lines? Rallies his base in the primaries and in the party, but not so great for the general election electorate, and therefore he's an unelectable candidate in the general election. And so while he may be getting railroaded, it's just bad, it's just not going to work out in the end. Is that conversation starting at all?
There's a lot of uncertainty on the political front. President Biden has not yet announced his re-election plans. People inside the White House expect him to run, but that's not entirely official at this point in any way. And when you look at the Republican race, someone like Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, not in, has made his own moves toward it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been much more overt about his own ambition. He still has not yet announced, because donors tell me someone like DeSantis or Youngkin or others who are looking at this race are saying to themselves, do they really want to enter an arena politically where Donald Trump is ready to lash out and fight at every turn, take you on personally, take on all of his legal challenges? It's political war for Trump. So if you're someone like Senator Tim Scott, I know some of his friends, I have interviewed them, know his colleagues in the Senate, shall we say, and they say, Senator Scott, nice guy. He wants to talk about his faith, his family, his personal journey. Good luck having that focus in this dynamic.
Exactly. Rebecca, tell me about the motion to dismiss, which the former President Trump's lawyers talked about. How would that go logistically? And then what would the case be?
Motions would be filed, so presumably the former president's lawyers will file a motion to dismiss the indictment, and there will be a chance for the prosecution to respond. The government will respond. There will likely be some oral argument regarding that, and then the judge makes his decision. And
what's our timeline, do we think, for that?
So, I mean, I think that could take a month. I mean, I don't know, and things could be different, and there could be other issues that are, litigated and status conferences that are delayed. So I don't fully know, but something around that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rebecca Roiphe. Bob Costa, thank you.